Hello everyone, Jocelyn here, you can call me Joy, and yes, I have just coloured my hair. But that's not what I want to talk about. So, quite briefly, the UK government has decided to reopen everything that is currently shut and lift all of the restrictions that were put in place because of the pandemic. This change is set to happen on the 19th, which is only a few days away, and I wanted to give my reaction to that now before it happens. So, for me personally, the most impacted thing about it would be things that relate to my job. So it does mean no more mask mandates. People may still wear masks if they so choose, but it is now no longer obligatory, which I think is a big mistake. No more social distancing. The 2-meter rule is now out of the window. I think maybe there was talk of 1 meter, but when you're 1 meter far away from someone, that's like normal space anyway, unless you're like close and hugging. And there's also going to be no more limitations on groups, no more like groups of 6 maximum, 2 household maximums, stuff like that. That's all just gone. And this, obviously this relates to public spaces such as public transport and places where people like me work, in pubs, restaurants, as well as other things that will reopen like cinemas and other entertainment venues and clubs and things like that as well. So yeah, I don't like the idea of having no more mask mandates because I believe this is what's been keeping things from getting worse than they already are, and they are getting worse. Also, another thing that's impacted is that bar service will resume. Now, I believe that bar service was never an issue. It really didn't, seem to stop people from walking around anyway. And it just made my job a lot harder. So I'm actually glad to see that return. But, I would feel better about seeing its return if it was still in conjunction with mask mandates. Me personally, I will continue to, for me personally, I had the thought that I will continue to wear masks until I am fully vaccinated. I have my 2nd jab booked for late August. So after a week of that, I should be fully vaccinated, and then I will reconsider my position. I'm not going to say take off the mask now. I will reconsider my position then, based on the numbers and the data that are available then. Because even if you are fully vaccinated, you can still catch the virus and you can still spread the virus. Like, that's not going away just because of being fully vaccinated. I also expect numbers of cases to rise more than they already are. I'll put some data up on the screen now. Compare the figures from early June, late May to like a couple of days ago. And yeah, ever since the government reopened, partially, we've seen a steady climb in numbers of cases being reported. However, to the government's credit, when you compare the number of fatalities, you'll see that those have stayed consistently low, and I do think that that is because of the vaccine being rolled out. That's a good thing, but for people who aren't fully vaccinated, it's still pretty scary because this disease can do more than just kill you. There are plenty of people who have survived and who now have long-term health effects, the likes of which will never be fully realised until, they get much, much older and we'll see how bad the long-term effects really are. So with that being said, I still do want to reiterate that being extra careful during these times is paramount, and giving a shit about yourself and others is also paramount, because it doesn't look like the government's going to. Also, I just want to share this piece of news. The newly appointed Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, made his first Commons appearance. He told MPs, quote, "There remains a big task ahead of us to restore our freedoms. Freedoms that, save for the greatest of circumstances, no government should ever wish to curtail." Okay, I agree with that. And yes, this has counted as the greatest of circumstances, so... But then he says, quote, "So my task is to help return the economic and cultural life that makes this country so great, while of course protecting life and our NHS." He also confirmed that COVID restrictions would not be lifted early. Another thing he added later was, "If not now, then when?" Well, my answer to him would simply be, how about when more people are fully vaccinated? The vaccine program seems to be working. Let's not jeopardize that by opening too soon, because number of cases is still rising at the moment. And it puts people like me who have had one jab at a little bit more risk. It puts other people who have booked their first jab and haven't yet received it at more risk. And it also puts people who cannot get vaccinated for other underlying health issues at more risk. So the numbers on people who have been vaccinated is also pretty interesting. The population of the UK is 66.65 million as of, these figures are as of 2019. But we can take it as a pretty good kind of, you know, ballpark. 66.65 million. So on the gov.uk website, they claim that about 38 million people in England have received their first dose, and about 28 million have received their second dose. By the 19th of July, the government expects that every adult will have had the chance to receive a first dose of the vaccine. And 2/3 of adults will have received their second dose. That's pretty disturbing though, because 28 million out of 66 million are fully vaccinated. That's just under 50%. That's not all that good. We need to be at somewhere between 70 to 90% vaccinated, like a population vaccinated, in order to really say that this thing is under control. And new variants are like popping up all the time. It sounds like a recipe for disaster. But, you know, Tory government, always thinking more about their bottom line, what's lining their pockets, than the healthcare and well-being of the actual people. I'm not saying that the other politicians are that great, but I'm just saying the Tories are most egregious about it. So that's what I think, and from what I've heard from people who I've talked to, my friends, my co-workers, they all kind of agree with me that it's still too soon. And we are the ones who are working in it and can't really do much about it, because we've got customers coming in all the time. It's great, you know, it's wonderful to think that we no longer have to be the mask police. Fun, great, cool. Hate doing that. Especially hate reminding people every time they get up that you must wear a mask inside. but that exists for a reason, and that reason hasn't gone away, and it certainly hasn't become manageable enough to even consider doing that. So it's pretty despairing, really. But anyway, I'm going to end this video before I start waffling. So please do stay safe out there. It's a weird, wacky, and dangerous world out there. Also, don't expect me to be too active because I'm going through some emotional stuff elsewise. I will be back, just maybe in a couple of weeks. But I did want to talk about this now because it's very time sensitive. So until next time, see you soon. Non-binary is still valid as long as we survive the fucking thing. God damn it. But I didn't think to record those, so let's do that in real time now. I think maybe 1 meter